Ricky, can you hear me? I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yep,
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
yep, yep,
So you missed the, you
yep.
didn't get the audio, the chant didn't come through, did it? You didn't hear
No,
the chant. We're gonna do it again. I had it on mute. My bad. Let's start over. May we be protected together, nourished together. May we practice and study with enthusiasm. May we glow brilliantly. May there be no bad feelings. Om, peace, peace, peace. Inhale for Om. Om. Sahana vavatu, sahano bhunaktu, sahaviryam karavavahai, tejasvina vadhi tamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om. Yogena chittasya padena vacham malam sharirasya cha vaidyakena yopakarotam pravaram muninam patanjalim pranjaliranatosmi abahu purushakaram shankachakra siddharinam sahasra shirasham shvetam pranamami patanjalim Srimate Anantaya Nagarajaya Namo Namaha Namo Namaha Namo Namaha. Om. Okay, what sutra did we leave off?
I had 119.
No, 119.
So around probably just 119, 119, 120. I think it was 119. Yeah,
Okay, 19.
Understand dualities of life without other existence is not end form changes.
Okay.
That sounds like 19. Those are my notes.
Bhava pratyayo videha prakriti layanam. So 119. So here he talks about two types of yogis at this point. The previous sutra he mentions, he says, in other words, there are different. Okay, the previous sutra he talks about sort of an attitude of enough is enough once we become satisfied. In other words, contemplating on the 24 principles of Sankhya. We talked about Sankhya, this supporting theory, the supporting text of yoga. So you apply your yogic power of samadhi towards these 24 principles, and you realize you're not these principles, and you become satisfied, and then that can put you in a state of deep meditation. And then he talks about 19. Now here he mentions that and that's a higher level yogi. Now here he talks about a lower level yogi, those who haven't gotten there yet, they still have desires. They've reached samadhi, but they're still lower level yogis in that there are still desires for cities. You know what cities are? Cities, powers, yeah, psychic powers. So they're still craving extraordinary existence. They haven't transcended this sort of like, for example, this desire to live forever is within all of us. This desire to live forever, and so this type of yogi is considered inferior to a superior yogi. They've reached samadhi. You have two yogis, one who's reached samadhi but still wants to live forever. Another yogi who's reached samadhi he's fine, he or she's fine with either. He's not attached anymore. So the superior yogi has even transcended this desire to live forever. Does it make sense? So this is what 119 is talking about. There's still, and he's kind of foreshadowing to the third chapter. because these siddhis are accomplishments or perfections. Siddhas are ones who have reached this level of perfection. They still have a desire for more powers, more accomplishments. They haven't transcended their mind's desire yet. That makes sense? So bhava is existence. Bhava means existence. Pratyayo is an attitude. The attitude is videha. It refers to devas. Videha refers to the devas. Devas are known as celestial beings, angels or whatever. Like to exist without your body, right? Devas are like spirits or angels, but videha is sort of this out of body existence. Prakriti, referring to Prakriti versus Purusha. We talked about that, right? What is Prakriti? Prakriti is the manifest and unmanifest universe that is always changing, always changing. And what is Purusha? Purusha is a consciousness or awareness. Right? We talked about Sankhya. So you have Purusha. Yeah, Purusha and all the things, pure consciousness, unchanging awareness, eternal, indestructible spirit, soul, formless, weightless, nameless, genderless, self. This is the self with a capital S, the true self because it's unchanging. This is called Purusha. Prakriti, we talked about Prakriti being the gunas, the manifestation of the three gunas, mind, intellect, the elements, the five bhutis, the karma indriyas, the organs of action, the organs of perception, jnana indriyas. So this is all on Prakriti side. This is the changing universe, right? And so here, this lower level yogi, again, we're still on 119. The lower level yogi is still attached to Prakriti, still attached and identifies with Prakriti. They're still surfing the matrix, if you will, right? They're still wanting to have they're still having their fun or whatever it is, right? We call it fun because we're chasing desires. We're chasing desires, endlessly busy, chasing down desires, never fulfilled, only temporarily fulfilled for just a moment until new desires pop up, constantly having desires, wanting this, wanting that. Okay. So let's see what the books say. What does Barbara say? Barbara Stoller, 119. 119. Turning point of 119. This is 119. 15, 16, 19. Okay. So ways of stopping thought. She says consciousness cessation of thought can arise from various forms of conjecture, reflection, enjoyment, and egoism. That's 17. Beyond that, there's 18. What's 18? Beyond this is a state where only subliminal impressions remain from the practice of stopping thought. 18. So it's 19. For gods and men unencumbered by physical bodies, unencumbered physical bodies. What I mean, living with outside your body, right? Remember, videha, living outside your body. For gods and men unencumbered. What is unencumbered? Encumbered. Not burdened by their physical bodies, still remain unmeshed in material nature. The cessation of thought is limited by reliance on the phenomenal world. Yeah, see, that's hard to understand. For those who are not ready for complete cessation of the samsaras, which is the endless cycle of birth and death, existence, which continues in both forms, birth after birth, want it greater still. So, in other words, we still want, there's this desire to live, to live long, have no pain, still exist as the I. They will become celestial beings and have out-of-body experiences, or will merge into the subtle aspects of Prakriti, right? What are the subtle aspects of Prakriti? Living in mind, living in ego, living in without the body, living in these in a mental plane, sort of in, you can call it purgatory. It's like in between this and that. We're still connected in Prakriti, but maybe not in manifest form. Devatas, like these devas. Devas are like, angels or whatever. Celestial beings, call it celestial beings. Yeah, it's That's an interest. It's hard to understand. What does Panditji say in his The Secret of Yoga Sutra? Was it 119, Samadhi Pada 129, 26. Okay, hold on to that for a sec. No, that'll be next. 23, 21, 19. The existence of a higher level of samadhi. The experience of the higher level of samadhi is innate to the Videha and Prakritilaya. Extraordinaries yogis technically. So there are two. He says so. There are two types of yogis: bhava pratyaya and upaya pratyaya. Bhava pratyaya yogis are innately equipped with all the tools, means, and powers and privileges required to reach the highest level of samadhi. Upaya pratyaya yogis reach the highest level, highest samadhi only if they have a plan for doing so and a strategy for implementing the plan. Yeah, I mean, he's saying something similar, right? There are two levels of yogis. There's an inferior yogi and there's a superior yogi. The inferior yogi has reached a state of samadhi, but it still has a plethora of unfulfilled desires. Okay? Just because you have reached a level of accomplishment in your practice doesn't mean you've transcended your mind. You have to continue and continue and continue. That's the thing. Most people can't continue. They come in, they decide they're going to do something, and then they get interrupted. There's not a remember we talked about abhyasa, long and uninterrupted practice, tending to something. Meditate. So the two words, medicate, meditate. You know the two words. They're very similar. They come from the same root word, which means to attend to something. Medication is supposed to tend to something, right? Meditate is to attend your mind to something. It comes from the same root word. It's ability to be with something. So, so the yogi who's reached the level of samadhi, but is still full of desire. Okay, let's move on to the next sutra. Oh, wait, what does your book say? Sorry. So this is Swami Satchitananda. So he says that there are these, so again, talking about the lower level yogi, those who merely leave their physical bodies and attain the state of celestial deities, or those who merge in nature have rebirth. So these yogis who want to live forever will continue living again. They will come and the cycle of samsara doesn't end. The cycle of birth and samsara means the cycle of birth and death. The higher level yogi escapes the matrix. Samsara is this matrix of coming back, leaving and coming back, leaving and coming back. Make sense? And so the higher level yogi escapes samsara and then merges with the infinite forever. I mean, at that point, you're not able to do anything but just exist in this eternal. But the thing is what happens is, I'm getting ahead of myself. Later on, he talks about the desire comes in, and once that desire pops in, you come back, and you become, the Dalai Lama wants to come back. Avatars of all the avatars. Krishna is supposed to come back. Jesus is supposed to come back. We talk about them coming back. They come back because they have a desire to help. So it's not a selfish desire. It's a selfless desire to come back. We call it bodhisattva. Bodhisattva. You ever heard of bodhisattva? Bodhisattva means one who lives for the sake of others. Okay. Did I give you your book back? Okay. A bodhisattva, I don't know. That's a good question. Would a bodhisattva be an inferior yogi? Yeah, because they came back to existence. Yeah, compared to the one who doesn't come back, which one's higher? Right? The one who doesn't come back is higher. They've reached a state where they don't have any more, they're not producing any more karma. They've escaped this existence. Because in this existence brings suffering. The idea is to free yourself from suffering altogether. So how do you free yourself from suffering? Is to not be born again. You understand?
If you're saying that Krishna or whatever would eventually come back and saying that in the lower level of yogi.
Yeah, according to Patanjali. I'm not saying it. Patanjali's saying it. I'm not saying anything.
these bodhisattvas, like once you kind of like attain,
I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's not talk about that. Let's stay on course.
do they merge with?
I don't know.
Dosha?
I don't know.
Like the like legit yogis.
I don't know. I don't know. Let's stay on track. We're on 120 now. Shraddha. So here 120 Shraddha, Virya, Smriti, Samadhi, Prajna, Purvaka, Mitaresham. So he lists here 5 steps for success in yoga. 5 steps for success in yoga. So previously he talked about these 2-level yogis. Now he's saying, okay, iteration for the rest of us, for the rest of the rest of us, those who aren't able to achieve this state of yoga yet. For the rest of us, we got to have one Shraddha. What is Shraddha? Shraddha means faith.
What?
Faith. Faith. Shraddha means faith. Shraddha. Everyone say Shraddha. Shraddha. Shraddha means faith. Very important word. And he's not saying not necessarily faith in a being necessarily. He's saying faith in the process. Faith in the process. The process that if you practice this yoga and you do the things that are prescribed here, that you will get the results or the outcome that's promised. Necessary. So it's like, people come, I got back pain, I'm going to come do yoga, but they have no faith that this yoga is going to help their back pain. Do you think it's going to help them? Probably not. They're probably not going to come in with enthusiasm. Their mind might be closed. Inhale, raise your arms up. They're not even paying attention, right? And exhale and raise their arms up. Now the back hurts more. I mean, if you have no faith in what you're doing, why are you even here? Sort of idea. Makes sense? So having Shraddha in the process, this is what he's talking about. Having Shraddha for the rest of us, right? For the rest of us. You don't know yet, right? These guys, these higher level yogis know, we don't know. So for the rest of us, we got to have faith in the process. Understand? Number 2, virya. Virya means enthusiasm, means energy. Virya, enthusiasm, vitality. We did the chant when we opened the discussions today. Tejasvina Vadhitamatma Vidvishavahai. We say Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahana Bhunaktu Sahaviryam. Same word. Sahaviryam. Let us, Saha means together. Viram. Let us be together with enthusiasm, with vitality. Sahavirya. Virya means enthusiasm. Sahavirya. Viryam. Be strong. So you need to come into this practice with earnest, with enthusiasm. And the third one is smriti. We talked about smriti earlier. It's like the 9th sutra, right? Something like the 9th sutra in the first chapter. Smriti. What is smriti? Smriti is memory. Like it's a power, it's a capacity. But do we use it? Or we don't use it? You've been told something. Did you remember? Did you remember to do what you were supposed to do? Or was it just in and out? In one ear, out the other. Right? Smriti, you got to have memory. Like, how many times do we have to teach before you remember? Right? So memory is a vritti. And if you don't remember, it can cause pain or not cause pain. Or you can remember and it can cause pain or not cause pain. Memory can be used to your benefit or it can be used to your detriment. Lack of it, right? Lack of it. And then 4, samadhi. Samadhi here doesn't necessarily mean this reaching the state. It's the ability to contemplate here. In this sutra, it talks about samadhi being the ability to contemplate, to concentrate. If you can't concentrate on a subject that you are wanting to know, you will never know it. And 5, prajna means you got to have understanding. You can study it, remember it, but you got to understand it. Don't just regurgitate something because you can, some of these, our school system, that's what it's a lot. It doesn't teach us critical. I kind of want to get into this, but sort of critical thinking type thing, or just memorizing something and regurgitating it and making it A, or you like having critical thinking and understanding. Prajna. Prajna means understanding. It's a special type of understanding. Jnana means understanding. Remember jnana yoga? Jnana, jnana means K-N-O. No, no, it's the same word. Jnana, no, it's jnana, it's this word, jnana. So prajna, it's the higher level. It's a yogic understanding. Pra means it's a we'll just call it yogic understanding, a yogic understanding, a special understanding. And purvaka, we've seen this word before, purvaka, purva uttanasana, reverse plank, purva uttanasana, remember? Reverse plank, purvottanasana. So purvaka here means preceding, that which comes, that which follows. So for the rest of us, the sequence or the 5 steps for success are having faith, being enthusiastic, remembering and repeatedly thinking about, keep it in your mind, having this level of concentration that gives you a deeper understanding of something. These are the 5 steps for success in yoga. This is really written for those who can't reach there yet, and you got to have faith. All right, let's move on. Number 21. Really short one. This is good. Now he says here, tivra. Tivra is an intent, means intense. Tivra means intense. Samveganam. Sam means total. Vega means speed. In other words, if you practice with intensity, with full speed, without wasting time, then the fruits will come to you. In other words, those who want it most will get there fastest. You can get there in one lifetime, depending on your intensity and full speed ahead, right? Or are you spotty? Are you going to visit it once a month, once a year, once a decade? Then it'll take you, 100 lifetimes, for example. Or is it something that you really want this lifetime? Then full speed ahead, full throttle. You're in a submarine, full speed ahead, right? Go for it. So again, this is probably one of the first success books, in my opinion. These are success principles. One of the first motivational speakers in the United States was Indian. His name was Swami Vivekananda. First picture over there, Swami Vivekananda. He came to the Parliament of Religions in Chicago when it was in 1894 or something like that. He came along. There's a big story. You guys want to hear the story? Stories are good. So Swami Vivekananda was a disciple of Ramakrishna. Ramakrishna was illiterate but a saint. He reached these levels of awareness, and this is one of his disciples, and he was commissioned. He was tasked of bringing the message of yoga to the West, bringing the message of yoga. So he hopped on and he never left the mainland, but he was educated in he was a yogi and a monk, a Hindu monk. But this is before, there's this idea of Hinduism, because to them, they weren't Hindu. He didn't carry around any insignia. He was a yogi monk. So he was tasked of coming to America, jumped on a boat, came over, and he landed in New York. And he was like, "Where's Chicago? I need to go to Chicago. I don't know how to get around." He comes in a turban, he's wearing his garb, and he sits on a bench on Central Park, and he starts praying to the Divine Mother. "Oh, my Mother, please show me the way. Take me to this Parliament where I'm supposed to talk and give a speech." Blah blah blah. So he sits there in prayer on the bench, and then he opens his eyes, and the lady comes. She's like, "What are you doing here, son?" I'm like, Ma, you came to save me. I've been praying for you. And he's like, "I came here from India, and I'm supposed to teach at the Chicago Parliament of Religions in Chicago." And she was like, "Oh, Shawnee, you need to hop on a train." Jump and put him in a train, sent him there. "Oh, Jai Ma, thank you, Ma," whatever. So he went. He shows up. He shows up late. And so he's like, "Hey, I'm here to speak. Came all the way from India." And they're like, "You're not on the roster. Sorry." So he's like, "But I have this big message, and I've come all the way from the other side of the world." And they said, "Okay, we'll give you 3 minutes." And so then So they gave him 3 minutes, and so he comes out. He comes out here. I'm gonna screen share with you guys. So he comes out, and he opens up. So he's never spoken before, right? So he's never spoken before, and oh,
Ready to be an e-commerce pioneer?
ready.
Step-by-step WordPress onboarding to new creating and
Sorry,
running a great online store easy as pie.
not part of the program. Not part of the programming. All right. So then he comes out. He's nervous. He's never spoken in public. There's like 3,000 people in front of him, and these are all like highly religious people from all over the world. And he was like, "Divine Mother, please give me the words." So he steps out, and his first words. I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about it. He says something like, "Brothers and sisters." Everyone else was, "Ladies and gentlemen." How everyone else spoke back then. "Ladies and gentlemen." There's still this disconnect. But he comes out, "Brothers and sisters, I come," and then so let's listen to him. But after his 3-minute speech, everyone stood up, standing ovation. "We want more Swami Vivekananda." The next day they let him speak all day. He was like one of the first, and like what? This guy?
What was Franklin call this?
Here it is. 1890s, I said. I think 1890s. I think. Let's see. Mahatma Gandhi. That's sisters and what, brothers and sisters. What did he say? What did he say?
I think he said sisters and brothers.
Yeah. That's Swami Vivekananda right there. 1893.
It fills my heart with joy unspeakable to rise in response to the warm and cordial welcome which you have given us. I thank you in the name of the most ancient order of monks in the world. I thank you in the name of the Mother of Religions. And I thank you in the name of the millions and millions of Hindu people of all classes and sects. My thanks also to some of the speakers on this platform who, referring to the delegates from the Orient, have told you that these men from far-off nations may well claim the honor of bearing to different lands the idea of toleration. I am proud to belong to a religion which has taught the world both tolerance and universal acceptance. We believe not only in universal toleration, but we accept all religions as true. I am proud to belong to a nation which has sheltered the persecuted and the refugees of all religions and all nations of the earth. I am proud to tell you that we have gathered in our bosom the purest remnant of the Israelites.
Anyways, I'll give you the link to this,
In the son of India.
and you can view it on your own time. But it's moving. He's so eloquent. Never spoken in public. Never been to America. Right.
Took refuge with us.
Anyways, he was like the first motivational speaker. We didn't have motivational speakers back then. I'm gonna send this on the chat here for you guys. Stop share. Anyways, yeah, these are our success principles. Hatha Yoga Pradipika has success principles. I mean, anyways, so yeah, you got to have it with intensity, tivra. In other words, my teacher would say, you got to want this more than a drowning person wanting to live. full speed ahead. Like, how much do you want it? If you don't, those who want it most get there the fastest. Those who don't want it really, or can't focus or can't waver, or their minds are wavering, they won't get there. 22. 22 says mrudu. Now he's talking about non-yogis. Up to this point, he's talking about high-level yogis, inferior yogis, those of us who are on the path to yoga. And then he's going to talk about 3 types of non-yogis. Mrudu. Mrudu are mild. They're mild or light, very light level practitioners. Maybe dabble a little bit into it. Maybe they'll do yoga this year. Next year they'll maybe do Zumba or something like that. It's just kind of dabbling. Then they're mild. Madhya means mid-level yogis. Mid-level, maybe practice on and off. A few years on, few years off, few years on, sort of like that. And then adimatratvat, due to their superior tapo api, due to their superiority, that they are let's call them the highest level ones. They have a superior commitment, concentration. So even though that there are 3 different levels, he's saying that there are 3 different levels, all distinct, all special, special, or unique. So the translation from Ramaswami's book is all people who can't do the above, all those who cannot do, non-yogis. There are 3 levels of interest with lots of differences, all unique. Okay, so that ends that section. So moving on to 23. This is the beginning of another section within the first chapter. Very important sutra. They're all very important. This one's pretty important. Ishvara pranidhana atva. Ishvara pranidhana atva. Ishvara. So the chant goes Ishvara pranidhana atva. Ishvara pranidhana atva. Ishvara here. So this is an interesting word. Different books translates Ishvara as God or the Lord. And I think even using those words kind of mess things up, because I think I have a different idea of what God is. You probably have a different idea of what God is, right? We all have different ideas of what God is. Lord as well, there are many people on this planet who put their egos up on a platform and then worship their egos as the Lord, right? They say, well, the Lord says this, but that's really what their ego is thinking. The Lord says to hate and kill. The Lord said, right? I don't think that message came from the divine. I don't know about you, but so anyways, I don't think that that's a good. What word do we use, right? What do we use? Maybe use the word Ishvara. Ishvara, pranidhana means to surrender. Pranidhana means surrender. So here, and va means or. So he's giving you one way to reach samadhi. Ishvara pranidhana, va means or. You may surrender to something greater than yourself. Surrender to something greater than yourself. Essentially what this is. You can call it the Lord, you can call it God. I like to say something greater than yourself because I don't think it's as confusing. So what is this thing that is greater than me? Let's define that. So the next sutra, 24, talks about this. 24 says, what is Ishvara? What is Ishvara? What is this thing that you say is greater than me? Klesha karma vipakashayai aparamrishta purusha visesha ishvara. So what is this? He says Ishvara is one. So he lists here 4 things. 4 things. He lists 4 things. The first thing is pain. Klesha. Klesha means pain. Karma or kurma. Kurma means, what does kurma mean? You guys, what does karma mean? It's a pretty popular word. Yeah, it means action, activity, action. Karma, action. And vipaka, what is vipaka? Vipaka means resulting experiences. So you have karma, Karma also means resulting experiences. Karma means actions and the results of those actions, right? Karma. And here he's being very specific. He says, vipaka, the results of your karma, right? So you have pain, action, and the results of your actions, the resulting experiences of those actions, and ashayai means the remaining unripe actions. You're unaffected by that as well. And apa ram prishta means to be untouched. So in other words, Ishvara is a Purusha Visesha here. Purusha means, again, what is Purusha? Purusha means consciousness. Visesha means unique or special, a unique consciousness that is untouched by pain. Ishvara is untouched by pain. Ishvara is also untouched by action, activity, and the resulting experiences of those actions. And also there is dormancy in karma. So he or she, it, right, nameless, formless, is unaffected by unripe actions, or in other words, dormant seeds of karma. In other words, karma is, you got to understand what karma is. Karma is action and results of three types. First type is thoughts. Thinking creates karma. Right? It's an action and it creates a result. Speech is karma. Your words can change the world. Speech is karma. And then your physical deeds, right? Deeds. So karma is of three types. Of those three types, there are also three types. So many freaking lists in yoga. The three types are seed form, which is dormant, and sprouting, which is starting to come up and manifest, and then you have full manifest. So 3 levels of karma is dormant, seed form, right? You can't see it, you don't know that it's coming, and it's coming, it's starting to come, starting to grow, and then in full manifest form, right? Things, for example, it's a dark example, but people who talk about suicide enough will eventually do it. It's a thing, right? So if you think about it, first they think about it, they may not express it, so it's sprouting. Right? Others around them may not know it, but the seed has been planted somehow. It's starting to form, and then it sprouts. It hasn't happened yet, but they speak it. They speak it. I'm gonna jump. I'm on the ledge. I'm gonna jump. They keep saying it. Guess what they're gonna do? Then they act. So karma is of 3 levels, and then of those 3 levels, there are 3 levels as well. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So Ishvara is unaffected by all those. Ishvara is a unique consciousness who is unaffected by pain, action, the resulting experiences, and unripe actions, which is karma in all the sense. In other words, Ishvara is unaffected by karma. Okay? So Ishvara here, the Lord, is the unique consciousness or self who is untouched by this group of 4 things: pain, activity, resulting experiences, and remaining unripe actions. See, if you look at our book here, Ishvara is not the creator. I think, have I said this before? We talked about this idea of a creator. So God, in some people's mind, is creator, Hindus specifically, creator, preserver, Vishnu, Brahma, Vishnu, right? The Trinity in Hinduism, the creator, one who creates the universe. Brahma created the universe, but Brahma had to change form and turns into Vishnu, and Vishnu sustains the creation. Everything that is created needs to be sustained and preserved. And then there's Shiva. Om Namah Shivaya. Shiva comes and destroys things. He doesn't destroy it, he transforms it. So everything in nature has this sort of cycle of life, this life cycle: creation, sustain, preservation, and transformation. Then that which is, it's like, fire. Fire is the energy of transformation. It burns. You have wood. You apply fire to it, the wood turns into ash and smoke. It's still wood. All the elements are still there. They just change form. That's the power of Shiva. So the 3 forces work on anything on the universe: creation, sustenance, and destruction. Our life cycle. We are born, We grow, we sustain in this body, then at some point we must transcend. So it's this idea of Trinity. This Ishvara is not that. Ishvara is not that. So that's why I don't like to use the word God in place of Ishvara. You understand? Ishvara is very specific. What is Ishvara? A Visesha Purusha, a special soul or consciousness that is unaffected by these things. So we're taking the personality out of it. It's just consciousness. You understand? This is not a personality cult. You understand? This is spiritualism. We're looking to find out what is spirit. What is spirit? Okay. So he defines it here. Is not a creator, not a sustainer, not a destroyer, as in other religions, such as in the Puranas, Christianity, Judaism, but is pure consciousness. Ishvara is like the individual soul, but is not affected by the four things: pain, activity, resulting actions, and unripe actions. Ishvara is freedom, the potential storehouse of all knowledge. The potential storehouse of all knowledge. So it's a little different, you guys. It's a little different. Yeah? Would you agree? It's different. And not sure, so we can look at these other books, but some of these books, they talk about it not in the same light. Let's just leave it at that, okay? Moving on, 25, Tatra. So Tatra, that is like Tatra's, Tat, right? That, it. It, in it, what is it? It is Ishvara. In it, in Ishvara. In Ishvara, what is Niratishayam? Niratishayam means completely residing in. Sarva. Sarva, again, Sarva means all or complete. And Gya, Sarvagnya, Gya, again, Gya, this word Jnana. Gya, again, means understanding or knowledge. So complete knowledge, complete understanding. So all knowledge, omniscient. Sarvagnya means omniscient, all-knowing. Bijam is the seed. Bij means seed. So in it, what it is Ishvara. In Ishvara is the seed of all-knowing, is what this Sutra is saying. Within Ishvara, it is a seed of all-knowing, all understanding, all awareness. The seed of awareness. You're aware. There's a part of you that's aware of this moment. There's a part of you that's aware. There's a part of me that's aware of this moment. Everyone who's with this lecture right now is aware of something. That awareness comes from Ishvara, is what this is saying. Ishvara is the seed for all of our knowing. The source. Does that make sense? Source. The source. This is source. So what makes this book unique is that in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna talks about you must believe in me and surrender to me and whatever, right? It's sort of, we see this in Christianity as well. Surrender to Jesus. But Patanjali doesn't say surrender to me. He doesn't say surrender to me. He says devote yourself to him. What is him? It. Let's say it, because that's gender now. So surrender yourself to it. In it. Tatra. In it. What is it? It is Ishvara. Genderless, formless, supreme consciousness, which is within me. It's also within you. Jesus said it, right? The kingdom of God is where? In the clouds. The famous Jewish yogi. The kingdom of God is inside, right? Didn't he say that? The kingdom of God is within you, he said to his people. The kingdom of God is within you. So therefore, Ishvara resides within each of us. There is a part of us that is aware. That awareness came from the seed of, it had to come from somewhere. So the idea is that Ishvara is that seed. Make sense? Source. 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 26. Sa Aisha. Sa Aisha. That one. That one. Purvesham. We've seen this words before. Purvesham. Those who lived in the past, those who preceded, right? Those who were in the past. Api, even so. Guru, the word guru. Guru means teacher. Guru means teacher. Or guru can also mean, guru means remover of darkness, or remover of ignorance. Guru, remover of darkness, ignorance. Tamas, ignorance and confusion. Kalena, kala means time, so kalena, by time. Anavat chedat, due to non-destruction, indestructible. So here he's saying, Patanjali is saying that that Ishvara, being the guru, the guru of all, including those who have lived before us, because Ishvara is unaffected by time. So we're adding to that list previously. Pain, karma, now he's saying time. In other words, Ishvara is timeless. Ishvara is unborn. Ishvara never dies. It's not like you and I have a perceived life cycle, well, a real life cycle. We have a life cycle. We were born, we are sustained, and we die. But Ishvara, here he's saying, is beyond time. Alexa, stop. Sorry. Ishvara is beyond time. Why? Because Ishvara is indestructible. See, indestructible. Indestructible. And that Ishvara has been the teacher for all yogis in the past. This is what this Sutra is saying. In other words, Ishvara is the depository of information, the omniscient awareness. Think about this. One that is aware of all things. One that is aware of all things. 27. Tasya vachak af pranava. So tasya, what is tasya? Tasya referring to his pranava. I'm sorry, but vachak. Vachak is name. It's like also means word. But vachak is name. So his name, its name is pranava. Pranava. What is pranava? Pranava is om. Pranava is another way of saying om. Om is pranava is om. Om is pranava. Pranava. So saying how do you communicate with this Ishvara? According to Patanjali, chant om. Chant om. Om is the calling card. You want to call Ishvara? His phone number is om. Om. Make sense? Om. And we can go into the whole Om thing. It's a long discussion, but Om is the sound of the universe, the sound of creation. It's the sound of, it is the sound that, it is a sound, it is the mantra that is the seed of all other mantras. Does that make sense? They're like countless mantras, but Om is the seed for all mantras. And if you practice nada yoga means a yoga of vibration and sound. It's chanting, that we do here. When you chant Om long enough, you keep chanting Om, 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 and you just tune into that vibration. Your brain vibrates that, your blood vibrates it, everything vibrates. Om. Then you'll start to hear beats. Om. Rhythm starts to happen. Om. And then these other mantras start to manifest. Om, 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 Murmuva, Suvaha, Tatsavitu. You know what I'm saying? It starts from Om. That's why they begin all the chants with Om. Om, Triyambakam, Yajamahe, Sugandhim. But you got to create that sound, that vibration first. And from there, it carries into the other inflections and the whole, Sanskrit alphabet. But Om is the beginning of it all. Have you heard of cymatics? You guys ever heard of cymatics? Anybody? Yes? No. Cymatics is a study of sound on matter. It is a study of sound on matter. It's a very interesting. There is a short video I would like to show you guys. Okay. Can you guys hear that over there? Thumbs up. VHS. Hans, Dr. Hans Jenny. Introduction by Peter Geis.
The film you're about to see has no characters, it has no people. It is a film to describe to you and explain visually the effect of cymatic frequencies on texture, structure, water, oil. If you spare a little of your imagination as you watch this film as it runs, you will see many things and answer many questions. You will see living forms, living amoeba, almost animal-like creatures. You will see continents being formed, the earth itself coming into existence, explosions, eruptions, atomic explosions and bombs. You can see all this and watch it before your eyes. Everything owes its existence solely and completely to sound. Sound is the factor which holds it together.
Ricky, we lost sound.
You can't hear it on your end?
I did it in
Oh,
the beginning, but then it's
Oh, I muted it. I didn't know you were hearing. I thought, okay, I thought it was playing through. I will rewind it just a little bit. Thank you.
Has no characters.
We'll start over.
Can you increase a little bit the sound, please? The volume?
I'm sorry?
Do you mind increasing the volume, please?
I just did.
Okay.
I just did. I will share this link and you can look it up on your own.
We messaged you, so that's the
The film you're about to see
Oh, shit. Hang on.
has
Okay.
no characters. It has no. It is a film to describe to you and explain visually the effect of cymatic frequencies on texture, structure, water, oil. If you spare a little of your imagination as you watch this film as it runs, you will see many things and answer many questions. You will see living forms, living amoeba, almost animal-like creatures. You will see continents being formed, the earth itself coming into existence, explosions, eruptions, atomic explosions and bombs. You can see all this and watch it before your eyes. Everything owes its existence solely and completely to sound. Sound is the factor which holds it together. Sound is the basis, form, and shape. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God. We are told that this is how the worlds began and how creation took shape. We put that into the modern idiom and say that into the great voids of space came a sound, and matter took shape. Please watch carefully.
So matter took shape. So this is in alignment with this idea of Sankhya. Soul consciousness merging with matter. Sound and so sound brought consciousness to life. So take a look at this.
We can also use different shapes of plate. Here we have a triangular plate with a crystal attached to its underside and produce a sonorous figure. We change to a higher note and see a rather more complicated figure.
I don't know if you can hear these frequencies, but they're tuning it to different.
This more elaborate figure, likewise on a steel plate, is also produced by vibration. The exciting crystal is attached to the upper corner of the plate. We use sand and lycopodium. The lycopodium moves to the center of the fields and takes up circular shapes. The sand forms the lines. Each
Cells.
material has its own special way of behaving. Lycopodium alone, a sonorous figure, transition to a mobile flowing phase,
Circulation.
and back again to the figure. The sonorous figures represent stationary waves, but now we can also observe moving waves. Here, the sand is flowing in a current.
Biology.
When the wavelengths are short, these currents produce a rotary effect. Areas become defined in which the particles are actually rotating.
It's like the formation of the universe. Fascinating.
Now we produce two notes with frequencies which are so related as to cause a beat. The note seems to throb, and by using the method we have chosen, this phenomenon of beat or interference can be rendered visible. The figure sways to and fro, the figure pulsates.
Heart. Hrid. Rhythm. Rhythm. Sanskrit's rhythm means rhythm. Life. From sound.
The picture has changed completely. Now we are exciting fluids. Under vibration, a layer of turpentine forms a regular lattice work.
This is it right here. This is interesting right here.
In vibrating
A freaking
fluids,
spine.
we see continuous waves which form the queerest figures. And yet, the extraordinary things we see here are simply and solely the
Scoliosis. I mean, crustaceans or, centipedes, whatever, snakes, our spine. So yeah, I'm not going to spend too much time here, but you see sound has an effect on matter. This is probably Om. Om. Interesting, huh? Om.
Music.
Okay, so anyways, stop share. I sent that link on WhatsApp, but I'll send it here as well. Cymatics, if you're interested in learning more. Science of sound on matter. So coming back to our sutra, we're talking about the vibration, Om, Pranava. Is that fascinating to you? Okay, so 27 says the calling card of Om is the way to communicate with Ishvara. 28 says Taj Japas. Japa. What is Japa? Japa means repetition. So Tat Japa, repetition, repeating Om. Artha, meaning. What is the meaning of Om? Pure consciousness. Right? If Om means Ishvara, and Ishvara is a unique consciousness, pure consciousness, then Om means consciousness. You guys with me on that? Okay. So Om means consciousness, pure consciousness. And Bhavana means meditate on this. So here he's giving an instruction. This is an instruction of how to practice pranava, how to practice Om. Chant Om, think of the meaning. 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 Just repeat. Japa. Japas means to repeat. Chant Om, think of the meaning. Chant Om, think of the meaning. Om, pure consciousness. Om, pure consciousness. Om, or you can think God, whatever. But it has to be in alignment with what Patanjali is saying, right? Not a personality, but consciousness itself, spirit itself. Yeah? Om, think of it. Om, think of it. Om, think of it. Om. Is that, you don't say Om, it's actually Om. Have you guys ever done Om chanting with me before? You probably haven't. We'll do it later on in the year. Do it a few times, and next you know, your mind's. Imagine the cymatic video you just saw happening inside your brain. Make sense? It vibrates everything into place. Order starts to happen where there's disorder. Right? Wherever your mind's all over the place because your brain's all over the place. But you chant Om and it starts to place the molecules and particles that's inside your head in order. Cymatics. That's why I'm so into the grounding mat, because it helps put everything back in order. Our brains are all over the place. There's too much energy in here. The molecules are bouncing left and right, and there's disarray. Chant Om, get grounded, and then your brain will start to come into a state of order. Make sense? Try it. We'll do it sometime. But we got to keep going with the lecture. So here again, 28 is just telling you to repeat it. Repeat Om, think of the meaning. Repeat Om, think of the meaning. Om is three sounds, right? Have we talked about Om? What Om means and stands for, the symbolism of Om? Have we talked about this? Okay, so Om represents, depending on who you talk to, it can represent many things. Some people say it represents creation, right? Creation, preservation, transformation. So the cycle, right? And but some people say Om represents the three states of awareness. We're in, say that there's a wake state. We're awake. There's the dream state. We've talked about this, right? Yeah, the dream state. which we think is real, just like the wake state, but we don't realize it at the time. Like this morning, I had a nightmare. I went to bed last night, and I was watching. Before I went to bed last night, I was watching anime, like samurais and stuff, slashing and killing, bloody, gory. And I woke up and I had this. I was sleeping. I had this nightmare. It was so real, and I was scared. And I remember waking up going, "Carl!" I was like, "Fuck's Carl?" But I woke up when I was like, "Carl, what just happened?" Oh, it's a dream. It was so real. Okay, I'm awake. That's not real. Because that was wild, right? So that's the dream state. And then there's a sleep state in which there's no setting, there's no play, there's no script, there's no word, there are no words, there's no interaction, there's nobody to interact with, and there's no dreamer, right? There's a dreamer within the dream. There's the observer within the wake state. The observer is present in both states, but the observer seems to vanish in the sleep state, which we talked about earlier. The observer seems to not exist. So depending on who you talk to, Om represents the three stages of creation, sustenance, preservation, and transformation, or the three states of awareness: wake, dream, and sleep.
Question?
Yes.
Isn't there three different names of gods that kind of capture that, creation, preservation, and transformation?
Yes. Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva. Brahma is the creator, Vishnu is the preserver, and Shiva is the transformer. Some people call it destroyer. It's the same thing. Destroy what is, but nothing gets destroyed, because remember in physics we learned that the law of conservation of matter and energy is that matter cannot be destroyed. I'm sorry, energy cannot be destroyed nor created. It only transforms. If you've ever studied, huh? You're teaching that right now at your school?
Conservation of energy.
Right, the law of conservation of energy. Energy can neither be created nor destroyed, only transforms. So it's this idea. So if we are energy beings, we can never be destroyed. We can only be transformed. It's the same thing. It's physics. Right. Okay. 29, tata. Okay. Then out of preceding the previous, then pratyak means unique or separate. What is pratyak? What is separate? What is unique? Chaitana is another word. Chaitana is another word for consciousness, similar to Purusha. Chaitana means consciousness. Chaitana means consciousness. Adhikama, reaching of the mind. Api, further. Antaraya, impediments, obstructions or interruptions, all interruptions. Abhava, the removal or destroy. And cha means again or also. So what he's saying here is that meditating on Ishvara, right? As mentioned earlier, Om, think of the meaning. Om, think of the meaning. Om, think of the meaning. Meditating on Ishvara, as mentioned earlier, results in the mind directly perceiving the individual consciousness or Chaitanya within oneself. Ability to experience one's own consciousness, one's own self, by removing the impediments, the obstacles, by removing the obstacles. So how do you experience it? By removing the obstacles. What's the obstacle? The obstacle is the eclipse. The eclipse is the obstacle. Yes? This is Greek now. We're going from Sanskrit to Greek. So the eclipse is the obstacle. The apocalypse is the removal of the eclipse. Apocalypse means removal of the impediments. But we have lost our way. We have lost our way. We think apocalypse means the end of the world. It means death and destruction. That's how it's used. It's how it's understood. It means the removal of the obstacle so that you can have a new experience. So the way you experienced previously is different from the way you experience now, because the obstruction has been removed. Does that make sense? What is the obstruction? What is the obstruction? One's own ego, one's own mind. When the mind has been removed, the mind is the moon, the mind is the moon, and the sun is behind it. You can't see the sun for the moon. It's called the eclipse. The apocalypse is when the moon is gone. That's what that means. Apocalypse means the eclipse is gone, and now that which was behind the moon is revealed. This is called revelations. What is revealed? The awareness or the spirit that is behind the mind. Where is that? That is within you. The sutra talks about the removal of that to the removal of the impediments. Doesn't mention mind specifically, but I'm giving you the answer. The removal of the impediments to reveal the consciousness that is behind the mind. So meditating on Ishvara, chanting Om, thinking of the meaning, will do this. Got it? It's so simple. Just do this, and he's saying it's so. Just do this. It's so simple. Chant Om, think of the meaning. Chant Om, think of the meaning. Keep doing it as if your life depended on it, and that which is behind your mind will reveal itself. But who's going to do it? Who's going to do it?
This is chanting Om out loud rather than just in your head.
Good question. Good question. I teach beginners to chant it out loud. Chant it out loud at first, and then you chant it out loud long enough that it stays in your head. It's called raga. Raga is a Sanskrit word that means melody, but it also means attachment. So when it becomes attached into your mind, it's probably attached to it because it's melodic. So the way we chant it, I'm doing it fast, but it's let's try it a few times. Let's just chant it. Let's just chant it 9 times. 9 times. Okay, 9 times. Okay, breathe in. Inhale. Three. Inhale. Four. Inhale. Five. Inhale. Six. Seven. Eight. Nine. Did you notice a difference in your state of being at the end of the last Om compared to the beginning of the first Om? Right? The mind quiets a little bit. You enter a state of stillness. That's just 9. Imagine doing 108. Do 108 and you're in the you're in the Om zone. You're in the Om zone. Be careful driving while in the Om zone. But yeah, you do a really strong posture practice, and it with some pranayama, do 108 chants of Om, and you will probably not want to move for at least an hour. You know, you're in a trance. It literally puts you in a trance, which is samadhi. Samadhi is a trance. Okay, where are we? All tranced out. Okay, so we have what? It's 18. We have about 12 minutes left.
Do you have any clips of you doing that? Maybe?
Doing what?
Like doing it all, so we could practice it?
No, we can make one together. We can make a. Kirsten asked if we have any tracks. There are tracks that you can find 108 ohms on Spotify. There are people doing it. You can play it in the background and chant with them. Playing it in the background has an effect, but if you chant with it, coordinating your breath, creating that rhythm, the concentration, and thinking about the meaning of it. If you do it, the effects are like 100 times better than just hearing it. Okay, 30. Vyadi. So here he's mentioning 9 obstacles. Previous sutra talked about obstacles, right? The removal of the obstacles. I mentioned that being your mind, your ego. Here, now Patanjali gives you a list of 9. There's another list for you. 9 obstacles, 9 impediments. What's the first one? The first one is physical disease. Vyadi means physical disease. Physical disease. That's an obstacle. Wouldn't you say? It's listed first because it's the biggest one. Our physical disease, old age and sickness is a disease. I mean, is an obstacle. You can't have samadhi unless you're a super powerful yogi / Jedi to do this if you have a toothache. You cannot have samadhi if you have a toothache or if you're sick. Like Andrea, poor girl, she's sick. Samadhi ain't gonna happen because there's a saying that a healthy person has 1,000 wants and a sick person has 1. They have 1 want to not be sick, right? So you got to get that out of the way. You got to get healthy. You got to get healthy. Physical disease, illness of the body. Next one is dhyana. Dhyana means inability to move, inability to go, inability to start. It's a very tamasic. It's a tamasic quality. Inability to start. Inability, frozen state, inertia. And what is inertia? You're teaching physics. What is inertia? Inertia means an object at rest tends to stay at rest. An object at rest tends to stay at rest. Inability to move. But inertia also means an object in motion tends to stay in motion. So this is, again, not a good word. Not a good word. Because if you understand 2 sides of the coin, only one side applies. It's the frozen state of inertia, not the other side. Yeah? Make sense? Because inertia means an object in motion tends to stay in motion. That's not what this is. Sthana means sthana. Think about it. Sthana means it's staying. It doesn't want to go. It's staying. Sthana. Like stira, steady. Sthana, staying. It doesn't want to go. Like frozen state. Shamshaya. What is shamshaya? Shamshaya means doubt. Doubt, opposite of shraddha. Shraddha means faith. This is doubt. This is an obstacle. Yeah? It's an obstacle. Having doubt, doubting oneself, doubting the process, doubting the teaching, doubting the scriptures. Doubt. Doubt's not a bad thing necessarily in itself. It's not a bad thing. It's only if if you are controlled by it, it's a bad thing. Okay? Yeah, understand this. The path of faith and the path of doubt reach the same place. The path of faith and the path of doubt will reach the same place. Except the path of faith gets you there faster. The path of doubt is a winding road. Because you question. You should question. But if you keep questioning, you'll get the answers. With faith, you don't need to question. Understand? So, but we have. I'm getting ahead of myself. I just want to iterate that doubt is not a bad thing. I'm not saying if you have doubt, you're bad yogi. No, if you have doubt, you're still going to get there. The problem is if you let your doubt make you judge. You judge and you decide and you say, this is the way. This is the only way. And there's no other way. Then you've closed yourself off to other possibilities. With doubt, you should have an open mind, right? Doubt shouldn't close your mind. If doubt closes your mind, then you're doomed. It's like a parachute. Your mind works best when open. So doubt is fine, but it is an obstacle. It is an obstacle. Pramada. Pramada. This is an interesting one. He says it's exaggeration, making too much of something, or carelessness. Now, these are so far in my mind, like different parts of the spectrum. It's kind of like what do the books say? I think Panaji says it's carelessness. This carelessness. Lack of foresight. Yeah, this is kind of all over the board. Lack of foresight, carelessness. What does your Swami Satchitananda book say, please? Here, you have one here. Why don't you please look these up. So we are on 130, talking about pramada. Carelessness is what Swami Satchitananda says. You guys have anything to add on your end over there? Raise your hand. Okay, no. Carelessness. Panditji says carelessness too, I think. We can also look it up in the Sanskrit dictionary. Oh, it's 824. Thank you very much. Pramada. Negligence, carelessness. Madness, error, huh? Yeah. Careless about. Handsome and buzz. What is it? Okay. Sorry, you guys on Zoom here. Let me screen share with you. See what I'm looking at. So I'm looking on the Sanskrit dictionary for pramada. I put it in. We get negligence, carelessness, madness, joy, which is interesting. Dissolute. What is dissolute? Broke? Not having stuff? Dissolute? Poverty? Is that right? Hopeless? Not poverty, hopeless. Mistake, insane, intoxicated. Okay, so these are just different words. These are all different. So pramadi. Okay, so we can say that it means carelessness. Let's just go with carelessness. We're nudging Ramaswamy. We're like, explain this exaggeration thing. I really want to understand. So what he said was, for example, when someone meditates, let's say you have a group of people, and then we all meditate, and then teacher asks, well, let's talk about your meditation experience. And someone in the group, there's always someone in the group says, oh, when my meditation was insane, it was awesome. I had these things and they start exaggerating, going off on it. When it doesn't make sense, exaggerating on an experience, embellishment. Yeah, embellish on an experience. Yeah, it's carelessly talking about something. Probably that would be careless, right? Not really talking the truth, but embellishing on something, I guess. Because he says that all experiences in meditation are distractions. If you're meditating and you have an experience, you're not in meditation. An experience is a chitta vritti. So if you're having a chitta vritti, you're not in samadhi. What is a chitta vritti? There are 5 of them. Right knowledge, wrong knowledge involves objects, imagination, sleep, and memory. If you're having any of these experiences, I was remembering this. No. You're not, it's an obstacle. So this tends to happen. Ramaswamy liked the word exaggeration better than careless. I don't know. Alasya, we have a couple minutes. Let's finish the sutra and we'll end it, okay? Alasya means like a fan. It's always going, it's not focused. Oscillation, swaying back and forth. Okay, I'm into yoga. Okay, I'm not into yoga. I'm into yoga, not into yoga. Okay. Oh, okay, I'll do this and oh no more meditation for me. I'm gonna go running. That's my meditation, right? Oh yeah. Oh no. Oh yes. Oh no. Oh yes. Yes, no, yes, no, yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. You're not gonna get anywhere. A success principle is this. A successful person, when they have enough information, they will make a quick decision. And they are slow to change their minds. Understand? An unsuccessful person ponders over making a decision even after they have all the facts. And then once they make a decision, they're quick to change their minds. So to have success in yoga, you need to not oscillate. Yes, no, yes, no, yes, no, yes, no, on, off, on, off, on, off. What does the Bible say? Be hot or be cold. But if you're lukewarm, I will spew you out of my mouth. Isn't that? Have you heard the Bible readers here? Yes? Have you heard this before? Be hot or be cold. Choose something. But don't be lukewarm. Don't oscillate. Yes? Yes. So alasya is vacillation or oscillation, swinging back and forth. Avirati, lack of dispassion. So a lack of dispassion can mean addiction. Too passionate, right? Too giving into temptation. Addiction and temptation. So lack of dispassion, addiction and temptation. Bhranti darshana, confused observation, incorrect observation. This is similar to what we talked earlier, wrong knowledge, right? Confused observation or incorrect understanding. In other words, what you see, you think is real and correct. When I say see, I mean in your mind. What you see in your mind, you think is real and correct. That is Bhranti darshana. Like, we use that example of the snake and the rope. Like the snake and the rope. You see the rope, but in your mind you see a snake. And you think it's real. You think it's true. Number 8, alabda, bhumikatva. This is just inability to reach the goal. Keep practicing but not getting any results. You see this all the time. People practicing yoga and not getting the results of yoga. And all of a sudden they find a teacher that teaches them real yoga, and then all of a sudden they reach yoga. It's inability to reach. There are reasons why you don't reach it, because one you're not doing it, or B, you're not doing it correctly according to the yogis. I see it all the time. Right now we have these 2 new students in my morning Zoom classes. 2 new students. They've never done yoga before, and after 2 classes, they're like, I don't know what it is, but something happened, and it's easier for me to relax my mind. It's easier to hold my breath. It's more comfortable. My mind's not panicking. I had a student once, she said, and I got her for 2 weeks. After 2 weeks, she did a headstand in the middle of the room, started crying. She's like, oh my God, I've been working on this for 11 years. 11 years I've been working on this, and I come to you in 2 weeks. It's because the right information is given, right? So in the Hatha Yoga Pradipika, moving to a different text, he said he gives you another list of ways to succeed in yoga. One of the ways to succeed is having right knowledge. Then he gives you another list on how to fail, having the wrong knowledge. So here, the inability to reach the goal, usually as a result of, even if you're practicing and doing something over and over again, it's like if I was a hockey player and you guys wanted to learn to swing a golf club and you took lessons from me, and I'm like, hold it like a party. You hold your golf club, one hand over here and one hand over here, and you swing it. Billy Madison. You guys remember Billy Madison, right? It's the same idea. If you want to learn to swing a golf club, you gotta learn how to hold a golf club, and then go for it. So, likewise, you got to have correct understanding to succeed. Otherwise, you may keep practicing and not receive any benefits or producing the results you want. 9, anavasti tatvani, regression, getting there and falling back. Getting there and falling back, right? You got there, but you don't practice anymore and you lose it, right? Use it or lose it. You don't use it, you lose it. Remember, yoga only works if you do, right? Yoga only works if you do. And then, so there's the 9. 2 through 1, number 1, Vyadi, number 1 is physical. The rest are mental. 2 through 9 are all mental. Isn't that interesting? Most of the obstacles you will experience in your quest for taming the mind is the mind. It's the mind itself is the obstacle. That is the eclipse. Yes, sir.
5 and 9 are awfully similar, would you say?
5, vacillation, and 9, regression. Well, the regression could be a result of oscillation, but I think oscillation is more rapid, probably. So reaching a goal. So Pete asked, it was 5 and 9 similar. Yeah, a lot of these things are similar, which you will find a lot of these things are similar. But oscillation is like at a very subtle level. Oscillation is like squirrel brain, right? Within 1 minute, you have oscillated between 10 different objects. That's more oscillation. 9 is you've done the work and you've gotten there. You've gotten, it's taken you years to get there. You got there, but then you stopped. So it's a little different. It's not, the oscillation doesn't happen, the frequency is different. It's not really fast oscillation. It's a slower oscillation. Maybe the oscillation happens in decades. So little different, but similar. Are y'all with me on that? You guys get that? Okay. Because beginners oscillate very much. They question themselves back and forth. Oh, this is great. Someone goes, oh, you shouldn't do that. Oh, okay, I'll never do that again. Wait, you just had a great experience yesterday and you said you thought you felt your soul, but today you don't want to do yoga anymore because someone pissed in your ear? Oscillate, right? The mind oscillating all the time. Can't stay with anything. Like the wind, like the leaves, always flowing with the wind. Oh, the wind's blowing this way. Oh, I'm a Democrat. Oh, okay, I'm a liberal. I'm a conservative. Oh no, I think I'm going to be independent. I mean, it happens, and you see it everywhere. Politics, I mean, Donald Trump was a Democrat in the 80s. I'm not going to get into politics. Okay. Right. So Vikshipta here. Vikshipta. Remember we talked about the five types of mind in the beginning of the lecture. 5 types of mind. One is Muddha. Muddha. What is Muddha? Muddha. I'm sorry. Kshipta was the first one. Kshipta means a broken mind. Kshipta is a broken mind. Muddha means an infatuated, addicted, childish, foolish, dull mind. And then we have Vikshipta. Vikshipta was the mind. I don't know where it is. Vikshipta is most of us. Vikshipta is most of us, fragmented, In other words, a mind that's fragmented, distracted, sometimes focused, sometimes not focused. These are the impediments that keep you from reaching the goal. And what do you do? You chant Om, think Shra, think of the meaning, and these mantra or these obstacles will go away. According to Patanjali, chant Om, and these will go away. According to Patanjali. So do I think chanting Om will make everything go away? I don't think chanting Om by itself will make everything go away. But I think if you continue practicing chanting Om and think of the meaning, you will start making decisions and choices that will start to remove these things. If you start chanting Om and thinking of the meaning over a long period of time, you're not going to do the same things you did before. You'll start getting better health because you'll make better choices. Your frozen state will start to go away because you're actually doing something as a discipline. You're chanting Om and thinking of the meaning. If you do it, you create a new disciplined samskara, habit or tendency, yeah? If you keep doing it, then you'll start to see the fruits of the work, then your doubt will start to go away. You understand? So just, we can go down the list. Just by doing it, things will start to shift and change in your life. It's about creating a habit or discipline. Okay, with that, let's go ahead and close up. 8:39. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahana Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvina Badhi Tamastu Ma Vidvishavahai Om Shanti Shanti Shantihi Om Yogena Chittasya Padena Vacham Malam Sharirasya Cha Vaidyakena Yopakarotam Pravaram Muninam Patanjalim Pranjali Rana Tosmi Abahu Purushakaram Shankachakra Siddharinam Sahasrashirasham Shvetam Pranamami Patanjalim Shrimate Anantaya Nagarajaya Namo Namaha Namo Namaha Namo Namaha Om. Thank you. I'll send the video link over through WhatsApp. Okay. Thanks, you guys.
Thank you, Ricky.